Okay. Good morning, students. So welcome to transportation engineering video session. So in the previous class, we started with the aggregate material के ऊपर हम discussion start किया था. We discussed about the different properties of desirable properties of aggregates like crushing, hardness, and shape of aggregates, durability. All these desirable properties हमने सीखा. And even we discussed a little bit introduction to the aggregates, all those things. So in this particular class, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about the different laboratory tests which we are going to conduct on aggregates. Okay? In order to decide the suitability of the aggregates for use in pavement construction, following tests are to be conducted or carried out. So obviously, if you are going to use the aggregates in the road construction, whether that particular aggregate is suitable or not for the road construction, or whether it is suitable for the particular layer or not, वो check करने के लिए you need to conduct the following tests. The first one is a crushing test. That is next one is crushing test means obviously it gives the strength of the aggregates. Already discussed in the previous class that to find the strength of the aggregates you need to conduct crushing test. The second one is impact test. That means to find the toughness of the aggregate you need to conduct impact test. The third one is abrasion test. So that means to find the wear and tear property of the aggregates, that is how much it is resistant to wear and tear. You need to conduct abrasion test. Then this impact test is already over. Next one is a sound test, that is soundness test, by which you can find out the durability property of the aggregates, whether how much it is resistant to adverse weather conditions, all those things. That is ultimately whether the aggregates are durable or not. So that we can use in road construction. For that, you need to conduct soundness test. Next, we are going for shape test. That means already told, like flaky materials and elongated materials are not good for road construction, especially in the top layers, because these elongated and flaky materials doesn't carry more load. So once the load is increased, these materials will get crushed, and all the strength of the stability of the layer will be compromised. So that's why shape test has to be conducted to get to know the how much percentage of flaky and elongated materials are present in the whatever the aggregate you are going to use for the construction. The next is specific gravity and water absorption test. Once again, this test through this test you are going to find out the specific gravity of the aggregate, and also water absorption से पता चलेगा कि how much aggregates are absorbing the water, because if it is absorbing more water, it is that voids are there, so maybe it directly indicates that aggregates are not strong enough to take the load. Then bitumen adhesion test, that this particular test we already discussed, like the aggregate should have less affection towards the water, because if it is having more, then because of the what we can say, like contact between the water and bitumen, if it is more, then bitumen layer will come out from the aggregate layer, or bitumen coating will come out from the aggregate layer. Then the bonding or the binding between the two aggregates will get reduced. Because of that one, once again, the stability of the entire pavement structure will be compromised. So these are the different tests which you are going to conduct in the laboratory. So in this class, we'll start discussing individual tests, like crushing test बोले तो क्या है, what are the equipments you are going to use, what is the procedure, what are those values, how to calculate those crushing value. Then if you are getting some X value, then whether it is suitable for which layer, all those information, that is standard informations, IRC standard क्या बोलता है, all those information will be discussed in this slides, in further slides. ठीक है? Okay, so let's start with the aggregate crushing test or aggregate crushing value test. First, we are going to discuss about the purpose of this test, significance of this particular test. See, aggregate used in road construction should be strong enough to resist crushing under traffic wheel loads. Obviously, if you're using the aggregates in the road construction, see, so many points are going to get repeated, but I try to skip all those things and we'll continue. See, to resist crushing under traffic wheel loads, so it has to withstand this traffic wheel load. So it should be strong enough. If the aggregates are weak, the stability of the pavement surface is likely to be adversely affected. So once again, if it is weak, the stability of the road will reduce. The strength of the coarse aggregate is assessed by aggregate crushing test. Already told, if you conduct the aggregate crushing test, you're going to find out the strength property of the aggregate. So this is the equipment, or these are the equipments which you are going to use for aggregate crushing test. There are different molds are there. You can see there is two molds are there. One is this one, and they're given the tamping rods are there. Even you can see some aggregate samples. So let's see, there is a plunger also. Let's see for how procedure देखे जैसे जैसे procedure जाता है, I will explain with all these things. ठीक है? See, aggregate crushing value. See, actually, when it comes to the theory, we are not going for step-by-step procedure. Okay? All those things will come in laboratory. So just I'll show the equipments and some important information about the standard values and all. Okay? Okay. See, there will be two modes. Just practical का जब समझाता हूँ तो तब every step-by-step procedure explain करता हूँ. But here ऐसे ही बताता हूँ कि there are two molds are there. This is what we are going to do is first we are going to fill the aggregates in this particular mold. 3 layers with each layer 25 blows दोगे. Then once it is filled, excess material को आप by using tamping rod horizontally पकड़ के excess material को निकालते हो. उसके बाद you are going to take the main mold. In this one, what you are going to do is you are going to pour like in 3 layers. So इधर से one layer निकालोगे, इसमें pour करोगे, 25 blows दोगे, another 25 blows, third layer 25 blows. So once you are done with all the 3 layers, you can see the base plate is there. इसके ऊपर एक plunger रखोगे, ठीक है? And you are going to fit this one into a crushing machine में रखोगे, ठीक है? So like this, you're going to place it and you're going to apply the load. And 4 tons per minute and maximum 40 tons तक जाओगे, ठीक है? So this is how the crushing test is conducted. And you're going to note down the जब readings load apply करते रहोगे, so obviously the dial gauge move होता रहेगा, proving rule move होता रहेगा. So once it start moving back, you stop the this thing machine, or once it reach 40 ton, you stop the machine. Then there is a calculation is there, formulas are there. Formula will be like W1 and W2 ऐसा है. तो वो once again I'm telling you, we are going to discuss in the practical point of view. Discuss करते समय in detail में समझाऊंगा. Okay, once you get the crushing value, final value. So this is the IRC recommendations. Like, समझो if you are going to use that aggregates for sub-base course, the allowable maximum crushing value should not be more than 50%. ठीक है? That means maximum 50% रहना चाहिए, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं रहना चाहिए. अगर ऐसा समझो आपका crushing value आया 48%, then you can use it for sub-base course. If you are getting 52%, you can't use. So that is the one IRC recommendation. The second one is base course. ठीक है? 45%, not greater than 45%. So that means if you are going to use for base course, your IRC states that maximum 45% रहना चाहिए, उससे कम है तो ही base course में use करो. For surface course, that means topmost layer, you can see since topmost layer में maximum forces आता है, so 30% is the maximum. So that means your crushing value should get maximum 30%. That means जो भी aggregates लिया है उसमें सिर्फ 30% ही crush होना है. उससे ज़्यादा crush हो रहा है बोले तो obviously you can't use it for surface course, but you can go for base course. That one also there 45% है. उससे ज़्यादा आ रहा है तो base course पे जा सकते हो, sub base course पे उधर भी 50% है. अगर 50% से भी ज़्यादा है तो you can't use in road construction. So these are the IRC recommendations. The next one is crushing ho gaya. Next one is impact test hai. The purpose. See, in basically, once you are talking हर एक का पर्पस एंड टेस्ट ही हम देखेंगे, ठीक है। डिटेल्ड प्रोसीजर नहीं रहेगा। सो इम्पैक्ट टेस्ट से क्या मिलता है? टफनेस मिलता है। सो टफनेस इज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ मटेरियल टू रेजिस्ट इम्पैक्ट, ये ऑलरेडी हमने डिस्कस किया है। Due to traffic load, the road stones are subjected to the pounding action or impact, and there is a possibility of stones breaking into smaller pieces. So obviously, whatever the aggregates you are going to use, it has to withstand this impact force or pounding actions. Okay? The road stone should therefore be tough enough to resist the fracture under impact. Obviously, it should not get fractured or it should not get break under this impact load. This is impact test machine. Once again, it has two molds. There is one mold and there is a small tamping rod, and there is one more ये mold रहेगा इधर, ठीक है। So what you have to do is, once again basic procedure बताता हूँ. You are going to take aggregates passing to 12.5 mm and retaining on 10 mm. Same with crushing also, ठीक है। So you are going to pour those aggregates inside this small cup in 3 layers, ठीक है। So first layer 25 blows, second layer 25 blows, third layer 25 blows. Once it is filled, you take this stamping rod, keep it horizontally and remove the excess material and note down the weight, that is W1. Then pour these aggregates into this particular one more mold which is there in this cup in one go. Whereas in crushing you have to like एक बार इधर होने के बाद 3 लेयर पे इसको फिल किया, ईच लेयर 25 ब्लोज दिया था, बाद में इधर से इसको ट्रांसफर करते समय once again 3 layers में करोगे, बट इन दिस केस 3 layers इसमें कर दिया तो 1 go में ये कर देने का, ठीक है। सो इट विल बी फिल्ड, पूरा हो जाता है, देन यू प्लेस इट लाइक, देन यू स्टार्ट गिविंग द नंबर ऑफ ब्लोस। इम्पैक्ट टेस्ट में आप क्या करोगे, इस हैंडल को पकड़ के ऊपर खींचना है, जैसे ये टच होता है तो ऑटो रिलीज होता है, तो नीचे गिरता है, फ्री फॉल गिरता है। तो इसका हाइट भी फिक्स है 450 mm समथिंग। ऑल दिस डायमेंशंस प्रैक्टिकल में डिस्कस करेंगे। सो लाइक दैट यू नीड टू गिव 15 ब्लोस, 1 ब्लो पर सेकेंड, मिनिमम 1 ब्लो पर सेकेंड आपको देना है। वंस ये 15 ब्लोस होने के बाद इसको निकालो और ये सैंपल निकाल के 2.36 mm से सीव करो एंड पासिंग मटेरियल का वेट निकालो। सो उसका वेट फाइंड आउट करो, दैट इज W2। सो फार्मूला इज W1 minus W2 divided by W2 into 100 किया तो इम्पैक्ट वैल्यू मिलेगा। So like this, you'll get some percentage. Multiply by 100 gives the percentage. So impact test का जो values है, like आ सकता है 12%, 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%. We don't know. So once you got those values, IRC has given some recommendations. Like if you're getting that impact value is less than 10%, then the aggregates are called as exceptionally strong aggregates. That means very less percentage of aggregate is got crushed because of that impact. The second one is 10 to 20% है तो you are going to call it as a strong. Then 20 to 30% है तो it is suitable for road construction. More than 30 है तो weak for road construction. ऐसे आप कर सकते हो. So like that you can see there is a table, IRC recommended table. Like if you are getting 30% aggregate impact value, so those aggregates can be used in bituminous macadam, bituminous penetration macadam, surface dressing, BUSG, OGPS and MSS. So different layers है ये सब, वो कंस्ट्रक्शन के टाइम पे डिस्कस करेंगे। So all these layers के अंदर आप यूज कर सकते हो। मैक्सिमम 30%, 27% is allowed, maximum 27% is allowed for dense bituminous macadam or SDBC, semi-dense bituminous macadam. For bituminous concrete, which is the topmost layer, you can see the aggregate impact value should be maximum 24%, not more than that one. And WBM, waterborne macadam, wet mix macadam, crushed rumble macadam, CRM, all these things, maximum 30%. This is for more specification, but if you go for rural road manual, for sub-base course, see, rural road pay, obviously, load will be little bit lesser compared to this main highways and all national highways. सब बेस कोर्स 50% है, बेस कोर्स 40% है, बिटुमिनस सरफेस कोर्स 30% है. So these are all maximum values they are given. ठीक है. So that is about crushing. Actually this is not crushing test, this is impact test. ठीक है. So next we'll go for abrasion test, where you are going to find out the wear and tear property of the aggregates. Los Angeles abrasion test है. See, due to the movements of traffic, the road stones used in surface course are subjected to varying action at the top. Resistance to wear or hardness is hence an essential property for road aggregates, especially when used in weighing course. Thus, the road stones should be hard enough to resist the abrasion due to the traffic. All these explanation purpose of the test मैंने पहले ही बोला था कि क्या होता है अगर टॉप लेयर में आप aggregates यूज कर रहे हो तो there is a friction between the tire and the road surface. So aggregates are going to get wear and tear हो सकता है. तो wear and tear कितना होगा वो फाइंड आउट करने के लिए आपको लॉस एंजेलिस abrasion टेस्ट करना है. अगर बहुत ज्यादा वेर एंड टेयर हो रहा है तो आप यू कांट यूज दोस एग्रीगेट्स फॉर द टॉप लेयर, एटलीस्ट फॉर द टॉप लेयर्स. ठीक है. सो दिस इज अब्रेशन टेस्टिंग मशीन है. बेसिक फंडा बता देता हूं. तो इसके अंदर आप क्या करोगे, एग्रीगेट्स सैंपल उसमें डालोगे. देन यू आर गोइंग, इसके अंदर ऑलरेडी देयर विल बी स्टील बॉल्स रहेगा. सो दोज आर कॉल्ड एज अब्रेसिव चार्जर्स आल्सो. सो दोज थिंग्स एक मतलब 11 नंबर्स डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द ग्रेड है, वो भी मैं बताऊंगा. बट वाइल कंडक्टिंग द एक्सपेरिमेंट्स तो देयर विल बी अ डिफरेंट नंबर ऑफ लाइक 10 नंबर्स 11 नंबर्स ऑफ अब्रेसिव चार्जेस रहेगा. दैट इज स्टील बॉल्स रहेगा विच इज हैविंग अ डायमीटर ऑफ लाइक सम 5 सेंटीमीटर और समथिंग विथ 450-480 ग्राम्स ईच रहेगा. 11 नंबर्स रहता है नॉर्मली और अग्रीगेट्स प्रेजेंट रहेगा. So then you start giving the rotations. ठीक है. So 33 rotations per minute आप दोगे for 500 rotations आपको देना है. तो ये जब आप रोटेशन देना स्टार्ट करते हो there is a impact भी रहेगा and abrasion between the that steel balls and aggregates के बीच में भी friction create होगा. Because of this one aggregate will get wear and tear होता है. So after 500 rotation you need to stop the machine. नीचे एक ट्रे रहता है, उसके अंदर से सब मटेरियल ले लो और 1.7 mm सीव लेके आपको सीव करना है. एंड जो मटेरियल रिटेन होता है वो आपको वेट लेना है. सो पहले आप जो मटेरियल डाला था दैट विल बी W1. जो मटेरियल रिटेन हो रहा है 1.7 mm सीव में उसको W2 लेना है. देन फार्मूला इज दैट यू फाइंड आउट द ऑपरेशन वेट. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट द ग्रेड. सो दैट मीन्स इसके अंदर जो मटेरियल पोर करने वाले हो you have to decide whether you are going for A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade, E, F, G grade. Because if you are going समझो with some A grade, so if A grade material ले रहे हो तो उसके अंदर अलग अलग साइज का अलग अलग वेट मटेरियल लेना है. लाइक if like 40 passing 25 retaining 1.2 kg लेना है, 25 passing 20 retaining 1.25 kg लेना है, 20 passing 12.5 retaining 1.25 kg लेना है. ऐसा अलग अलग मटेरियल्स लेना है. So if you are taking A grade material, this is one thing you remember. Every time you are going to pour 5 kg materials from A to D. For EFG it is 10 kg. So you can see 5 kg is there, 1.25, 1.25, 1.5, 1.25, 1.25. That is 5 kg material लेंगे A grade के लिए. And number of spears, that is abrasive charges will be 12 रहेगा. तो उसका total weight 5 kg plus or minus 25 grams रहता है. Similarly, if you go for B grade materials, like उसमें सिर्फ 20 passing 12.5 retaining 2.5 kg रहेगा and 12.5 passing 10 retaining 2.5 kg रहेगा. टोटल 5 kg रहेगा. बट अब्रेसिव चार्जेस 11 यूज करने वाले हो तो उसके हिसाब से उसका वेट रहेगा. लाइक दैट ओनली C ग्रेड, D ग्रेड, E ग्रेड के लिए. E ग्रेड के लिए देख सकते हो 80 passing 63 retaining, 63 passing 50 retaining, 50 passing 40 retaining. लाइक 2.5 kg, 2.5 kg, 5 kg रहेगा respectively. At total 12 charges रहेगा. So like that you decide. समझो I'm going to take B grade material, like grade B material मैं consider करने वाला हूँ. So grade B material normally हम conduct करते हैं lab में. See grade B material क्यों लेते हैं? It is like very much closer to the field condition पे जो road construction करते हैं उसमें. Like 20 passing 12.5 retaining ये जो top layer है उसमें ऑलमोस्ट यही साइज का मटेरियल्स रहता है। सो आपको क्या करना है, 20 पासिंग 12.5 रिटेनिंग 2.5 kg मटेरियल लेना है, 12.5 पासिंग 10 2.5 kg लेना है, तो 5 kg मटेरियल प्लस 11 अब्रेसिव चार्जेस इसके अंदर पोर करना है। सो W1 विल बी 5 kg, देन यू गिव 500 रोटेशन, देन 1.7 mm सी लेके सी करके जो रिटेन हो रहा है मटेरियल उसका वेट ले लो, दैट विल बी W2। ठीक है, सो फार्मूला इज दर, यू कैलकुलेट द लॉस एंजलिस अब्रेशन वैल्यू, सो वट एवर द वैल्यू विल गेट, समझो इफ यू आर गेटिंग 40%, so for bituminous macadam, bituminous penetration macadam, BUSG, MSS, surface dressing, open grade premix surfacing, for all these layers the maximum allowable abrasion value should be 40%, इससे ज़्यादा है तो इसमें यूज नहीं कर सकते। If you are going with the dense bituminous macadam, semi-dense bituminous macadam, maximum value is 35%. If you are going for bituminous concrete, which is the superior quality top layer पे, the maximum abrasion value is 30%, उससे ज़्यादा है तो you can't go। फॉर WBM, WMM, CRM के लिए 40% है, फॉर रूरल रोड मैनुअल बिटुमिनस सरफेस के लिए 40% है। सो दीज आर द सम IRC recommended वैल्यूज। ठीक है, अब्रेशन हो गया। नेक्स्ट विल गो फॉर स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी एंड वाटर अब्जॉर्प्शन टेस्ट। द स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी ऑफ एन एग्रीगेट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी मेजर ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ और क्वालिटी ऑफ द मटेरियल। ऑब्वियसली स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी क्या आपको बताता है, इट्स गिव्स द information about the whether quality of the material, or quality means strength of the material. Stones having very low specific gravity means it has very less strength or weaker. If it is having more, then obviously it is stronger. The specific gravity test helps in identification of the stone also. Okay? So once you conduct the specific gravity test of the aggregates, procedure once again I'm not going to explain, we are going to discuss in the practicals. वही W1, W2, W3, W4 जो सॉइल के लिए करते हैं ना, ऐसे ही एंड इसमें ये है स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी के लिए यू आर गोइंग फॉर वायर बास्केट मेथड है। ठीक है, वो एक्सप्लेन करूंगा। सो 2% स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी आ रहा है, सो यू कैन दिस इज सी स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी 2.4, 2.6, 2.7 आए तो वेरी गुड स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी है आपको। तो even so many times you are going to assume the specific gravity of the aggregates like 2.6, 2.72%, 2.72, not unit is not there, 2.72. This is for water absorption. Same test, once you calculate W1, W2, W3, W4, there is a formula to find the specific gravity and also to find the water absorption. समझो 2% water absorption आ रहा है, so then you can use the aggregate for bituminous macadam, bituminous penetration macadam, BUSG, DBM, SDBC, bituminous concrete. If you are getting 1% or less than 1%, this is the maximum limits, then you can go for surface dressing, open graded premix surfacing, MSS seal coat. So in case of water absorption is more than 2%, soundness test to be done. Like 2% से ज़्यादा है तो obviously you can't throw the aggregates, but go for soundness test and check it out. Rural road में 6%, 3%, 2% दिया है for sub base, base course and bituminous surfacing respectively. ठीक है, these are the standard values. Next is soundness test, that is durability test है. The purpose of conducting this particular test is to study the resistance of aggregates to weathering action. All these things we discussed in the starting desirable properties discuss करते समय. In the absence of adequate information from performance studies, a laboratory test simulating accelerated weathering condition is carried out to judge the durability or other soundness of the aggregates. So what we are going to do is weathering action कैसे आप टेस्ट करोगे, it takes long time, but laboratory में कैसे conduct करना है, see what we are going to do is you will accelerate the weathering condition, like उसका effect, like using some acids, correct है, like that you are going to use some chemicals and you will try to see whether aggregates are going to get like how it going to resist for this chemicals. Like that you are going to conduct this soundness test. Once again, what chemicals, what is the different cycles you are going to use, all those things, for how many days, all those things we will discuss in the this your next to this thing. But sodium sulfate 12%, magnesium sulfate 18%, like this they are given the values. after 5 cycles. Like that's why I told different cycles they are going to use. Once again, it is from according to MORTE, that is Ministry of Road and Transport Highways. A specified maximum permissible loss of bituminous layer. That means, see, इसमें क्या करते हो, like aggregate लेते हो. It's not loss of bituminous layer. You're going to take the aggregates and you're going to pass through some chemicals, sodium sulfate, magnesium sulfate. For 5 cycles के बाद you'll see how much percentage of material is disintegrated. ठीक है? So it's okay. Yes, proper procedure बाद में सीखेंगे. This is another test which is also most important test, है shape test है. So what we are going to do in this particular test is you're going to try to find the you're going to find out the flakiness index and elongation index. So that means how much percentage of flaky materials are there and elongated materials are there, because of these two materials only, these two are weaker in it doesn't take the load, right? Shape test. One second. Okay, aggregate procedure, shape test. ठीक है. Only basic idea. The particle shape of the aggregate mass is determined by the percentage of flaky and elongated particles in it. Okay. Aggregates which are flaky or elongated are detrimental to higher workability and stability of mixers. Obviously, right? So the flakiness index is defined as the, okay, this is important. The flakiness index is defined as the percentage by weight of aggregate particles whose least dimension is less than 0.6 times their mean size. Test procedure had been standardized in India, IS 2386 part 1. Okay. So you need to find out the flakiness index and elongation index. So flakiness index is defined as the percentage by weight of the aggregates, that how much percentage of the flakiness index you are going to call in percentage only. It's a percentage by weight of the aggregate particles whose least dimension. So here least dimension is thickness. That least dimension thickness is less than 0.6 times their mean size. For example, so this is flakiness index find out करने के लिए, ठीक है? This is called as flakiness index and is least dimension is thickness. So this is called as thickness gauge. I will explain this particular point, ठीक है, by showing this diagram. समझो, if you are taking this slot, okay, I'm taking this slot. समझो this slot is 21, 12.5 passing and 10 retaining. Actually, this is the slot, but taking this one, ठीक है, 12.5 passing and 10 retaining, correct है? उसका जो mean value है, that is add करो 12.5 plus 10, 22.5 divided by 2, that is the mean value ना. तो वो इतना ओपनिंग रहेगा, जो भी वैल्यू आता है इतना ओपनिंग रहेगा. ये मैं प्रॉपर से आपको प्रोसीजर में बताता हूँ लैबोरेटरी टेस्ट कंडक्ट करते समय, जस्ट ये एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए. उसका वैल्यू रहेगा, दिस इज द मेन वैल्यू ऑफ दैट वट एवर दैट डायमेंशन इज. अभी एक एग्रीगेट लेते हो, इसको पास करते हो, ठीक है, उसका 0.6 टाइम्स से भी कम है तो दिस इज मल्टीप्लाई बाय 0.6 भी हो जाएगा. सो उससे भी कम है तो मटेरियल इज कॉल्ड एज फ्लेकी मटेरियल. अगर पास नहीं हो रहा बोले तो इट इज नॉट फ्लेकी मटेरियल. लाइक दैट ओनली फॉर एवरी स्लॉट सेम डेफिनेशन इम्प्लाइज, ठीक है. So this is for elongation index, where is we are going to see the length of the aggregates. Here it is the thickness of the aggregate, that's why it is called as thickness index. Here you are going to see the length of the aggregate, that's why it is called as length index or elongated index. Length gauge, thickness gauge, ठीक है. Sorry. The flakiness index is defined as the percentage by weight of aggregate particles whose least dimension is less than 0.6 dimension their mean size. Okay. Similarly, if you see the elongation index of aggregate is defined as the percentage by weight of particle whose greatest dimension, that is length, is 1.8 times their mean dimension. This test is applicable to aggregate larger than 6.3 mm. That is, if you are going for elongation index, maximum like not less than 6.3 mm का aggregates को consider नहीं करना, उसे ऊपर वाला aggregates को ही consider करना. ठीक है. So that's why I told flakiness index, where you're going to find, you're going to use, where the least dimension you're going to consider, that is thickness. The instrument is called as thickness gauge. In elongation index, you're going to consider the greatest dimension, that is length, and the instrument you are going to call it as a length gauge. Okay. So the test is also specified in IS 2386 part 1. Once you conduct the shape test, you're going to get combined flakiness and elongation index मिलेगा, not separate, combined value. So according to MOT specification, that is Ministry of Road and Transport IOS, if you are going to use aggregates in bituminous layers, the combined index of the aggregate should be 30%, not more than that one. That means elongation index plus flakiness index दोनों मिला के 30% रहना चाहिए. उससे ज़्यादा है तो you can't use. If you're going for WM, WM, CRM, 30% दिया है. For rural road, सब बेस के लिए जा रहे हैं तो फ्लेकीनेस इंडेक्स 40% रह सकता है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. बेस कोर्स के लिए फ्लेकीनेस इंडेक्स 30% रह सकता है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. अगर बिटुमिनस लेयर्स को जा रहे हैं तो कंबाइंड इंडेक्स 35% रहना है, उससे ज़्यादा. 40% है तो सब बेस या बेस कोर्स के लिए यूज़ करो, उससे कम 35 से कम है तो यू गो फॉर बिटुमिनस लेयर्स कंबाइंड इंडेक्स. ठीक है. Okay, this is polished stone value test. Because see क्या होता है, because of that friction, ठीक है. सो अग्रीगेट जो लेयर रहता है वो पूरा पॉलिश होके बहुत स्मूथ हो जाता है. इससे वजह से क्या होता है, फ्रिक्शन कम हो जाता है, स्किड हो सकता है व्हीकल. सो दैट्स व्हाई यू आर गोइंग फॉर पॉलिश्ड स्टोन वैल्यू टेस्ट ऑल्सो. देयर इज अ व्हील विल बी देयर इज फैसिलिटी इज देयर सो दैट यू कैन कीप अग्रीगेट्स का एक लेयर बना के आप यूज कर सकते हो. ठीक है. अग्रीगेट टेस्ट बहुत सारा लाइक पॉलिश्ड वेल फाइंड आउट करने के लिए हम नॉर्मली ये टेस्ट इसमें नहीं है तो वी आर नॉट गोइंग फॉर एक्सपेरिमेंट में भी यूज नहीं करेंगे. देर इज ए पोर्टेबल स्किड रेजिस्टेंट टेस्टर भी है, जिससे हमको जो ऑलरेडी कंस्ट्रक्टेड हुआ है रोड लेयर, उधर जाके आप फ्रिक्शन फाइंड आउट कर सकते हो. लाइक यू कैन चेक द फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन द फ्रिक्शन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर पेमेंट लेयर. सो स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से है क्या नहीं चेक कर सकते हो, क्वालिटी टेस्ट भी कर सकते हो. दिस इज अ स्ट्रिपिंग टेस्ट है, STRIPPING स्ट्रिपिंग टेस्ट. दैट इज टू फाइंड द क्या बोलते हैं अडेसिवनेस, अग्रीगेट कितना अफेक्शन है वाटर, वो कंडक्ट करने के लिए स्ट्रिपिंग टेस्ट है. सो लाइक दिस. सी बेसिकली क्या करोगे इसमें, आप अग्रीगेट्स लोगे विद कोटेड बाय द अग्रीगेट्स. ठीक है. तो इसको क्या करोगे आप, यू आर गोइंग टू प्लेस इट इन ए वाटर, लाइक प्रोसीजर है. तो यू आर गोइंग फॉर डिफरेंट साइकिल्स आप करोगे, वाटर में डुबा के रखोगे फॉर सम टाइम. देन देर इज अ मशीन ऑल्सो, आई डोंट नो वेदर दे मेंशन्ड हियर और नॉट. So there is a machine. So you use that particular machine, you give some different rotations. Then you see like after some time कि whether the bitumen जो coating था वो निकल के बाहर आया क्या aggregate से. तो इससे जस्ट एन ऑब्जर्वेशन है. लाइक एक बार आप ऐसे देखोगे जैसे कि ये इधर सब निकल के आ गए समझो, तो चेक करोगे कि अप्रोक्सीमेटली कितना परसेंटेज मटेरियल सरफेस से निकल के बाहर आ गया. सो लाइक दैट फ्रॉम दैट ऑन यू विल आइडेंटिफाई कि वेदर अग्रीगेट्स आर लाइक वेदर इट इज कितना अट्रैक्ट होता है पानी से. बिकॉज बहुत ज़्यादा पानी के से अट्रैक्ट हो रहा है बोले तो बिटुमिन लेयर निकल के बाहर आ जाता है. तो वैसे ये चेक करते हैं. ठीक है. दैट इज अबाउट द टेस्ट रिलेटेड टू द अग्रीगेट्स. सो नेक्स्ट इज पेमेंट मटेरियल है, दैट इज बिटुमिन के बारे में बात करने वाले. सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स टेस्ट आर रिलेटेड टू अग्रीगेट्स. होप आपको समझ में आया. सो I'll stop here only. In the next class, I'll start with the bitumen के बारे में बात करेंगे. So bitumen, what is bitumen? Little bit introduction to the bitumen, types of different forms of bitumen. Cutback बोले तो क्या है, ठीक है? Emulsion बोले तो क्या है? Then there are some other cationic bitumens are there. Where exactly you are going to use? Then we'll discuss there are different tests of that: penetration, ductility, softening, specific gravity, viscosity, flash and fire, flow test, वाटर कंटेंट टेस्ट, लॉस एंड ईटिंग टेस्ट. तो इसमें सब डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे, जो हमारा लाइक प्रैक्टिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू जो चाहिए वो सब डिस्कस करेंगे. ठीक है. सो आई विल स्टॉप इट हियर ऑन बिटुमेन मटेरियल्स. होप आपको समझ में आया. थैंक यू.